13-year-old boy. Makes even his old father feel scared. Just because he not only has high combat power, he also has a tendon face. The fierceness in his eyes has no trace of youthful innocence. But what my father doesn't know is, now the reincarnation of the hero Hamel. 5 heroes conquered the Demon King's tower 300 years ago. Several people relied on their strong strength to go all the way. Just when everyone thought that all the monsters had been taken care of, being attacked by mud, Hamel risked his life to block the fatal blow. He used his last breath to plead with Vermouth to defeat the devil. Feeling guilty, Vermouth revealed the truth in the name of a warrior. Will definitely defeat all demon kings. However, fate plays tricks on people. Hamel was reborn as a descendant of Vermouth, Eugene Lionhart. But it's just a crab. This is a family that is directly descended from Ren. A bloodline ceremony is held every 10 years. Children aged 10 to 15 in direct and collateral families will gather. After passing the duel, pick the one with the strongest strength. However, before the bloodline ceremony was held, Pengshi, neither real weapons nor cultivation seedlings can be used. This resulted in successive bloodline rituals. Crabs never win. Now the bloodline ceremony is about to be held. This time there are 3 direct and 6 crabs participating. Among them, there are 1 eldest son and 2 in the direct line. Among several twin crabs, 2 of them are from families with high prestige. Except, others are not worth mentioning. Eugene made up his mind to break the crab's curse of never winning. Be prepared. Eugene rides the family carriage to the ghost house. In fact, his talent in his previous life was average. But he works harder than anyone else. So I ran ahead of my peers. But Vermouth is a real genius. He is a warrior god who is proficient in swordsmanship and magic. He once served as a duke in his hometown Hill Empire. Later the title was returned. The world has always called him respectfully as Almighty Ambassador, and the rest of his companions. The wise Senya was invited to the demonic kingdom. Ennis became the youngest magic tower city. Euless was called a saint in the Holy Empire. Brave Morin. Then he established a kingdom bearing his surname. These people lived well before they died. But he can't figure it out. The devil is still alive and well. Vermouth clearly swore in front of him to defeat the devil. Not only, they also fought with the Yubby Demon King who killed Hebir. Signed a contract in exchange for the peace we have today. That's all. Guilt arrives at Lionhart's home in thoughts. He should be the first to arrive. At this time, the wide courtyard is empty. Lion pattern on flag. It's the symbol of the Lionhart family. Only direct descendants can have this logo tattooed on their left chest. We also give each crab a special, equipped with a dedicated maid. Eugene's maid is called Nina. Learned from Nina. Other relatives are expected to return within 4 days. Eugene decided to go to the martial arts field to practice first. In his previous life, he worked very hard. After his rebirth, he never slacked off. Because no matter how hard he practices, the body is completely fine. Heals quickly even if injured. Physical fitness of descendants of Vermouth. It's so good beyond imagination. Nina was shocked next to her. Eugene's arms and fur were tied with sandbags. Still able to move so freely. Just when Eugene was immersed in practice, the twins in the porcelain came over. The man asked the woman what he was doing. Eugene responded directly and it was hard to tell. I'm training fools with spears. She immediately became angry. As a straight person, he always thought he was taller. How could the side lizard be so angry? And Eugene dared to ignore his life. So he grabbed the wooden sword next to him. Challenge Eugene. Eugene didn't want to pay attention to him at all. But he humiliated Eugene's parents. Now I know Eugene's order. Just take off the sandbags on your body. I saw the back of the sandbag. Sometimes I feel frightened. But it was he who initiated the challenge. If you shrink back, he will definitely be laughed at by his sister. I have no choice but to bite the bullet. So throw out the scarf. Challenge Eugene again. The moment the scarf fell, the gilding is moving. The tip of his gun just hit it head on. The duel ended in an instant. Not long after, Xian's teacher came over. There is no lion tattoo on his left chest. He should be a knight who serves in this family. Seeing Xian throw herself into his arms and complain, Lu Jinzhen was worried whether this person would cause trouble for him. But the man introduced himself respectfully. I am the sea scum responsible for teaching Master Xian. Lu Qing also introduced himself politely. Then he explained the whole story. I learned that it was my young master who initiated the challenge first. Lu Jin is not at fault either. He took Xian back. In the evening Lu Jin was eating. It was difficult to report the crab to him. The other 5 people will arrive at his home tomorrow. It looks like the bloodline ceremony is about to begin. At the same time, other side, Xian's mother, that is, the second wife of my family, learn what just happened. Very dissatisfied with Xian. Not only challenge the crab first. It is said that the winner can be determined by one blow. Suddenly furious, slap Xian in the face. In his opinion, Ponzi is no different from a nickname. His own son lost so miserably. And the head of the family is about to come back because of his bloodline. And the eldest lady. I'm afraid everyone is gloating at this moment. After Li Tong vented his anger, let Hei's hair take Xian to training. Then tell him about his daughter. Get along well with Eugene. He wanted to kill Eugene. But doing this makes him the most suspect. Self-respect within the family. Killing will attract the guardians of the family circle. The other 3 crabs also arrived at my house the next day. I planned to arrive at night. The other 2 crabs arrived early. Because the family has arrived. The family held a grand welcoming ceremony. The one standing at the front is the eldest lady. And next to him is the eldest son of the family, Ligo Reinhardt, who is also the first heir. At this time, the head of the family, Gild, finally came into everyone's sight. Behind him was his 3rd brother who succeeded him. In addition, his 2nd brother Gifford is married and living with the family. The 3rd brother left the family with him when he was single. I finally came back after 3 years. Gild simply said hello to everyone. All descendants who participated in the bloodline ceremony were invited. Have a meal together. By the way, let's talk about bloodline I. Soon everyone gathered in the restaurant. Kgs and Dizera among crabs. It's with the head of the family. By teleporting back and forth between the 2 of them, the family has a high status among Pengshi. There is also a face that is relatively unfamiliar to them. The owner wanted to introduce it later. But when everyone mentioned him, he stood up and introduced himself. It turns out that he is Rebelia from the Red Magic Tower. Heard this name. Everyone was shocked. Because he is the owner of the Red Magic Tower. Suddenly Eugene coughed violently. Because the Red Magic Tower Master. That is to say, this Roblien is the nth generation disciple of Xenia. 300 years ago he became the youngest master of the Magic Tower in history. Not only has the public magic book been revised, also to other disciples of the Magic Tower and the owner of the Magic Tower. Suggestions on magic. Therefore, the Green Magic Tower Master and the Red Magic Tower Master respect Xenia as their teacher. I unexpectedly met someone related to my old friend here. That's why he was choked just now. Then the owner of the house was worried about food safety. I also noticed. After Oxford asked Xian to apologize to Lu Jing. Everyone has finished eating. The head of the family then began to describe the content of this bloodline ceremony. Although as the head of the household. But he thinks traditional bloodline rituals are unfair. It was originally a traditional ceremony to safeguard the interests of the family. However, Pengshi's children were required to attend the ceremony before the ceremony. Cannot use weapons and practice magic. In this case, it is almost impossible for a crab to defeat me. Even this time his 3 children will participate. But he not only needs to understand the direct qualifications. Crabs also need to know. It has nothing to do with who is straight or crab. So this time he invited the Rebelli case. Because of this bloodline ceremony, will take place in a maze he created. Defeat the monster leader in the center to win. However, there will be various traps and mobs along the way. Although everything in the maze, it's all a fantasy created by his magic. But it will feel very real. As long as one of the 9 people defeats the monster leader, the ceremony will end. Then score based on personal activity. Another person who defeated the leader You can also go to our treasure house. Pick anything. This is very attractive to Eugene. Eugene practiced alone in the playground at night. After a while, the two crab guys came too. Before Eugene could figure out what they were going to do, Kaji strode towards him. Suddenly he took off his clothes. Then take a deep breath. Tense your muscles. The gilded people were stunned. Could it be that this guy is a fool? Karjas also asked him to touch it. Eugene flatly refused. It turns out that the Karjas family has a secret muscle-building agent. Even without magic, it can also promote muscle growth based on the level of training. Are you interested? Are you here to sell medicine? At this time Daizara came over. Saw the test sword in Eugene's hand. Then he threw him a spear. I want to spar with him. Just. Eugene also wants to know the strength of the top crabs. Pakis as referee. As his life begins, Rigora takes the lead in attacking, but stopped halfway, because he felt that Eugene had no flaws. But he still had the courage to do it. However, all the attacks in turn were easily blocked by Eugene. Even so, Eugene still approved of him. Challenge. Without magic. It's already amazing to be able to reach this level. There is also a lot of room for development in the future. But he is not his opponent yet. Can't beat the strong wine. Tigura once again launched a more violent offensive. Sudden. A flash appeared behind Lu Jin. Already a sure winner. One shot thrust out. Lu Jin has no way to dodge. Suddenly he lifted his foot. Easily step on the gun tip. Lost the battle. The two saw Eugene's strength. Offered him cooperation. Although the blood ceremony is, they cannot enter from the same entrance. But the final destination is the same. They hope Eugene can join them to defeat the monster snake. But Eugene thinks he can defeat him alone. Although the tone is very harsh, but I have to admit that he is very capable. So Daizara wants them to cooperate. Because crabs have never defeated me. Don't you want to win against me? Lu Jing fell into silence after hearing this. Mrs. Toki's residence. He guessed that he would invite Roblien this time. It should be that he wants him to take Lida as his disciple. Because Lida liked reading books since he was a child. Compared to wielding swords and guns, he prefers magic. If he becomes Roblien's disciple, I have to leave my home. Then his children will have a chance to inherit the position of head of the family. But the problem is bloodline. Because his child is a concubine. Many elders in the family look down upon him. Thanks to him still having a place in the family. Only then can they consolidate their position. But Xian lost to a crab. This actually made the second lady hope that Gilding would win. Only in this way. Only when Xian lost to him would people forget about it. 3 days later, the bloodline finally arrived. Before starting, Roblien gave each person a ball of light. These light groups can follow their imagination. Pick out your favorite weapon. And mazes and weapons. All made by Roblien's magic. So it will never be damaged in the maze. In the end, everyone made the weapons they were good at. Roblien used magic again. A batch of necklaces were produced. Give it to each person and let them wear it. If the mental stress they endure exceeds the limit, Roblien will intervene. Even if it is a safety agency just in case. You can also take pictures of the gems on the necklace. I can get out of the maze safely even if I yell for help. After explaining the rules, everyone entered the maze through the entrance in front of them. Although the entrance is the same. But after entering, everyone will be assigned to different places. But Eugene has explored many mazes in his previous life. He has extremely rich experience. Waving the sword in his hand, just barely hit the wall. In other words, the space here is narrow. It would be tricky with slightly longer weapons. So he chose the shield and the sword. Because this combination can be applied to any scenario. And this is just a maze to test kids. It's definitely not difficult. Even so. But it still started less than an hour ago. The other 3 members of the Pang family were eliminated. When they go back, the head of the family and Roblien continue to observe everyone's actions. Haggis encountered a monster. As expected, it was as Eugene expected. The space here is small. Haggis' giant sword was blocked by the wall just after he swung it. but he relied on brute force to kick the chick away. Killed the two monsters in front of me. Although a little stupid. But this bravery can also be regarded as an advantage. On the other side, Tigara also encountered mobs. He chose to rely on his agility to avoid the battle. It can be said that the intuition is very accurate. I also know that the most important thing now is to break through the maze, instead of fighting. As for Xian, before they attended the ceremony, Mother showed them a lot. Maze design drawings. So he and 12 also learned a lot of strategies. Use what you've learned along the way and use caution. Until now, he successfully avoided every trap, although too cautious. But it also allowed him to successfully pass the previous levels. The other side. Sometimes he easily defeats the monsters that block him. As I continued on, I realized it was a dead end. So I decided to go back to the forked road just now. He is very emotional. Thinking is also very active. So it seems a little childish. As for Lide, not only was he not afraid when he encountered a monster, on the contrary, very curious. How was this monster created using magic? After killing the monster easily. Also take a look at the luggage left behind after the monsters dissipated. This also attracted Rebellion's attention. The head of the family mentioned that he has been fond of magic since he was a child. He even asked a teacher to teach him. But he gave up halfway. Because he thinks he must do it for his mother. Become the head of the household. So finally compromised. Actually, the head of the family wants him to follow the path of magic. I also hope that Rebellion can accept him as his disciple. But Rebellion still needs to observe further. But for the sake of his friendship with the head of the family, we'll take Lide away. But whether you say it or not depends on the words of Lida. The owner also agreed. He just wants his children able to pursue one's dreams. After all, compared to his ancestor Vermouth, he was more. Honor the wise Senya. Rebellion also expressed his approval. In the great adventure of fairy tale book Warrior Vermouth, he also prefers Senya's story. The head of the house also read that book. But his favorite is neither Vermouth, not Senya either. But when Rebellion asked who his favorite, he was suddenly attracted by the picture in front of him. It was Eugene who encountered a giant monster. The point is that he was a prisoner when he faced the giant monster. His skillful fighting ability. The two of them were stunned. Only 13 years old. He probably hasn't fought a troll before. He defeated the monster neatly. And this giant monster is bigger than it actually is. Rebellion's original intention. Just train them to sneak away when an opportunity arises. But he was able to defeat the giant monster easily. This reminds Rebellion of this kind of children. Become Genius and the Tower Priest who also encountered trolls. But he's not that relaxed. Already covered with bruises at this time. But he's not cowardly. Still bravely attacking the giant monster. Knocked down the general monster. However, he collapsed to the ground due to excessive injuries. Can't move on. At the same time, Xian also encountered a giant monster. But he guessed Rebellion's purpose in making this giant monster. Shouldn't let them knock him down. So he used the stone in his hand to attract the troll's pigs. Take the opportunity to slip away. Shortly after escaping the troll, when he met his sister. They all start from different places. Can be met here. Indicates that it is not far from the center. The two began to act together like this. On the way, my sister suddenly mentioned that since this is all fantasy. But will there be a ghost? Heard this. Xian suddenly felt nervous. Pretend to be calm and say don't worry. No matter what appears, I will understand. Both of them were shocked. After calming down, I realized it was Desarahara. Come on, he has been lying in wait here. I just want to sneak attack Xian's brother and sister. But I was shocked. The broken gong sword was discovered. Turn around secretly and want to leave. Sometimes his intentions are discovered. Reminded Xian and chased him together. Encountering a trap on the way to escape. Fortunately, he stretched out his thrust and rushed over. Xian stopped. Because the floor tiles fell off. They are far away from the opposite side now. But he doesn't want to embarrass himself in front of his sister anymore. So I decided to use magic. With the blessing of magic. He tried hard to run. Jumped over. I was turning around and wanted to pull Xian away. As a result, she jumped further than him. I had no choice but to smile out of embarrassment. As expected of my sister. Then the two continued to chase. Chased all the way to the center of the maze. Finally saw the monster leader. But there is one more person who arrived here. That's Eugene. He arrived earlier than Xian and the others. Been waiting here. Want to see who will get here first after him. Because he feels he can easily take down this leader by himself. But he wanted to give others a chance. As long as you don't enter the leader's attack range, the leader will not move. In other words, he is now on standby. Although Xian and others were very unconvinced. But where is Eugene's strength? This is what we have to do. At least there's a chance to kill the leader. So Eugene followed the order of their arrival. Let them take action in turn. The first one is Daizara. Although a person has no idea. But it was not easy to get there. Of course he won't give up. Face this behemoth and attack decisively. But the prototype of the leader is the Minotaur. Although it is not a mansion per se. But in a story based on a maze. This level is absolutely indispensable. Stronger than the previous trolls. Although Niagara tried his best. But can't even break through the defense. Being caught by the leader with one hand and thrown directly. Got out because it was just a test. So the monster made by Roblien. Most of them are capable of killing themselves. Then it was Xian's turn. His face is full of confident smile. Because he also hides a trump card. That's sword energy. It is the source of magic that can cut off everything. It usually takes 10 years of practicing magic to create it. He can use it at this age. Still somewhat capable. But when he was about to take action, the sword energy suddenly stopped. Xian looked confused. But Lu Jin remembered what the head of the family said about fairness at that time. It seems the use of magic is not allowed in the center of this maze. So, the family and the crabs can live under relatively fair conditions. Competition cannot condense gaps. The confidence in food safety suddenly decreased a lot. If you are afraid of losing, just come back quickly. Don't show off, be careful to get slapped in the face. How could Xian be willing to embarrass himself in front of his sister again? So he bit the bullet and attacked the hand fiercely. Although his attack can cut open the leader's body. But such a small injury. No threat to him at all. So Xian planned to attack the leader's legs. Just when he thought he had succeeded, the leader actually blocked the blow with his knee. Xian lost his balance and was caught by the leader. Throw him out like Daizara. Xian also lost. It's 12 o'clock. He just admitted defeat. The reason is simple. Sword energy cannot be used. Still fighting. This actually made Eugene look at him with admiration. At least he's smarter than his brother. Then of course the next one to come on stage is Eugene. How do I defeat him? Facing the leader's charged blow. After Eugene calmly dodged. Taking advantage of the situation, he used the leader's arm to rush toward him. The leader stretched out his big hand to block. But to no avail. Eugene successfully jumped on the leader's head. Upon seeing this, the leader punched his mask. Being fucked by a dog or smashed in the face. Lu Jin took the opportunity to aim at the leader's horns. Every blow is an easy blow. The last time. Several times the leader's neck was raised to once. The powerful body is heavy. This bloodline ceremony finally comes to an end. Although Xian was very unconvinced. But he knows in his heart. Even if you use sword energy, you can defeat the leader. But it will never be so straightforward. At this time, as the leader turned into beams of light, science and engineering also disappeared. Eugene's performance impressed all the family members. Roblien was also surprised. Itself Minnow. Tauros is a being that can only be defeated through cooperation. Let children work together in a variety of ways. That was his purpose in making the boss monster. But now it was easily captured by Eugene alone. This made him curious about Eugene's background. The owner of the house said with a proud smile. Since Lu Jin came to our family, brutal training is carried out every day. His strict self-discipline is also well known in his hometown. He is a born martial arts prodigy. The biggest gain from this bloodline ceremony. Just discovered him. This gem. Don't you feel angry? Roblien raised a soul torture. He is better than those children of yours. If you practice magic in the future, I don't know how strong it will become. The owner of the house didn't care. On the contrary, I think it's a good thing. Eugene is also a member of the Lionhart family. What if he wants to be the head of the family? The head of the house was silent for a while and said, "Head of the Bernhard family. It should be inherited by the best people. Own children. If you can't even protect your birthright, then you are not qualified to be the head of the family." Roblien thought for a moment. "I still gave the head of the family, Gild, a suggestion. The beast travels as an adopted son. Because of the crab's children. Won the family in the blood ceremony. It will make many crabs look down on me. There may even be people with ulterior motives. I think this is indeed a good situation." Just then the children came out. The head of the family decided to congratulate them first. "Think about the adoptive owner again. My child is depressed because he lost to a crab. Like didn't even finish half of the maze. Although it is because of curiosity about magic. But in the blood ceremony that proves qualifications. I forgot my goal because of my own curiosity. Still let the owner feel disappointed. On the contrary, although 12 and 10 and failed to defeat the Minotaur. But not bothered by traps and monsters. The future is still promising." After a while of thinking, Gild expressed his appreciation and congratulations to everyone. Especially Eugene. Most outstanding performance. But the giant monster was completely unscathed in a head-on confrontation. This surprised Cargus. After all, his body looks so weak. It would be great if I could use my own muscle growth supplement. Roblien was also very unexpected. He had expected to take at least 2 days. I can't help but sigh at the power of Vermouth's bloodline. Finally, the head of the family asked Roblien to take the others back. Leave Eugene alone. He wants to fulfill the promise of the treasure house. Walking on the road, the owner of the house took the initiative to talk to Eugene. It is mentioned that Eugene is good at various weapons. He knew that Eugene used a spear to defeat Stone Saddle. But in the maze, swords and shields are used. This reminded him of his ancestor Vermouth. He is also good at various weapons. Therefore, later generations call him the God of War and the Almighty God. But Vermouth is not the only one who is good at various weapons. And Hamel. But the fairy tale book says he is the dull Hamel. The owner smiled. If it weren't for Hamel's troublemaking, that fairy tale book will definitely be boring. And compared with Vermouth, the owner of the house prefers Hamel. This actually shocked Eugene, the reincarnation of Hamel. Why is it compared to the flawless Vermouth? I prefer the humane Hamel. Although Hamel often feels inferior because of Vermouth. But he never gets discouraged. And will practice harder. In the end, he sacrificed himself for his companions. Listen to what he said. Eugene is a party. I couldn't help but my face hurt. Soon after, the two came to the family's underground treasure house. Apart from the head of the family, Eugene is the first person to come to the underground treasure house. This treasure house stores the Lionhart family various legacies over the centuries, including Vermouth's legacy. What Eugene is most interested in is Vermouth's holy sword. But the head of the family said he couldn't give him the sword, because that's the symbol of the Lionhart family. Of course it's not just this reason. Another reason is that after Vermouth, no one has ever been recognized by the holy sword. Go to the gate. The owner of the house uses his own blood to open the door. Let Eugene go in by himself. Because he felt like he was following him. Would make Eugene feel constrained. Eugene smiled. This is just what he wanted. Step into the treasure house. The first thing that caught my eye was Vermouth's holy sword. Eugene plans to start with him. Because the holy sword was given by God. Sard, existing in the Holy Empire of Eurus since mythical times, has been sealed in the central temple. In long years, he only recognized Vermouth as his master 300 years ago. The holy sword pierced Hamud, the 5th ranked heart of the killing demon king. After that, the holy sword was used as a torch. Eugene tried to hold the hilt of the sword. Pull it out hard. But I found that I couldn't pull it out either. But it's not a pity. You can't take it away anyway if you pull it out. He decided to go and have a look. Don't move on. Eugene's eyes were attracted again. What caught his attention was the predatory sword Selfie. This sword can capture the magic that is cut open, to increase one's strength. But for him now, not appropriate. Besides, he also saw many familiar weapons. Yonji spear Kalbis. Although it takes some time to heat up, but its power is no less than that of the Wrong Earth Storm Sword. Wilder. Lord Leguang, blessed by the Wind Elf King. Felino. Can shoot lightning regardless of distance. Meeting Zabel with joy and sorrow. Just inject magic. Will break down into hundreds of blades. Zidan's shield turns into a whip. A shield that causes attacks to flow into void space. This flooded Eugene. Although these weapons, you won't regret taking any of them. But that's not all. He found that the Moonlight Sword and Touch Spear were missing. But 300 years have passed. It was probably taken away. He began to consider. Wilder had better master the ability to control the Wind Spirit. If you have enough magic power, you can also summon the Wind Elf King. And elf magic is particularly difficult to get started with. No qualifications. No matter how good you are, not even the summer elves can control it. But with Wilder, you don't have to worry about that. Although my heart is moved. But Eugene decided to take a look around again. Except weapons. And gems and decorations. Suddenly he excitedly picked up a necklace. It's the necklace he wore in his previous life. This is a relic left to him by his parents. He was still wearing this necklace before he died. Since the necklace is here, it was probably Vermouth and the others who collected his body. It seems they didn't abandon him after he died. Although Vermouth made a contract with the claustrophobic Demon King, brought peace. But Hamel and the other two Demon Kings still exist. At this moment he thought of his companions. They had agreed together to get rid of the 5 Demon Kings. What oath was made? This always bothered him. What on earth are Vermouth and the others thinking? Maybe it's because he passed away midway. As a result, they did not have enough strength to defeat King Mew. He doesn't want to doubt his companions. They must have a reason for not getting rid of the devil. Although there are many weapons in the treasure house that make him excited. But he doesn't want his relics to stay here. This surprised Gild. I don't understand why Eugene chose this necklace. Because there are so many excellent weapons in it. Moreover, in his eyes, this necklace is just an ordinary bargain. Reach the lion-elephant field test. There is no registration and reprotection. This made him feel suspicious. But Eugene insisted on taking it. He can't help it. Had no choice but to agree. But before that, he wants to take it to Roblien for appraisal. Maybe it's something magical. Given that this necklace is not Reinhardt's treasure, Gild allows Eugene to choose another treasure. Upon hearing this, Eugene bowed and thanked. He immediately ran away and dived into the treasure house. I didn't expect the head of the family to be so flexible. Much better than Vermouth. So he chose Storm Sword Wilder without hesitation. It takes others at least a month to build a family. Male boy. But it only took less than 10 minutes to complete. Not long ago Eugene was victorious in the blood ceremony. Obtained in the family treasury. Reward for choosing a treasure. He finally chose himself among many treasures. Is Wilwer and Storm Sword Wilder. However, Kakis and Digera felt that it was not powerful enough. Digera who likes spears. I hope he chooses the demon spear. And Kakis hopes that he will choose the crushing insect. Actually, these two weapons were both weapons used by the Demon King. There are 5 Demon Kings living in Hamel. They are the number 1 Demon King of Destruction. The 2nd-ranked Nether Demon King. The 3rd-ranked Demon King of Quanglan. The 4th Cruel Devil. And the 5th-ranked Killing Demon King. The Demonic Spear is exactly the 5 weapons used by the Cruel Demon King. And the Crusher is killing. The Devil used. This makes Eugene Zionki. There are no 2 weapons in the treasure house. Although these are very powerful weapons. But the most powerful weapon of Vermouth is the Moonlight Sword. Because it's too strong. Even in the magic mirror, it has to be sealed. At the same time, in the head of the house, Roblien has already put the necklace together. No magical existence was found. But after all, it has been stored in the treasure house for many years. He didn't believe it was that simple. So I decided to explore it more deeply. This time he will use. It's the magic created by Senya to read magical memories. With the release of magic, Senya's mind. Pictures related to the necklace gradually emerged. What can be seen is only 100 years ago. The necklace was destroyed on the streets of the capital. He guessed. It should be the magic in the treasure house that seals the magical memory. Since there is no magic on the necklace, the family can also safely give the necklace to Eugene. At the same time, he also made a decision. It is to take the oil essence as an adopted son. So early the next morning, Ji Wen came to invite you. He has a very familiar personality. Still a chatterbox. But Eugene had a pretty good impression of him. The two of them soon arrived at the master's reception room. There are two main reasons for summoning Eugene this time. The first thing is to give him the necklace. After learning about Roblien, after reading the memory content from the necklace, Eugene discovered that it was a false memory, because he has been wearing this necklace since 300 years ago. After his death, he was kept in the treasure house of the Vermouth family. Impossible 100 years ago. Bought on the streets of the capital. Could it be that what Roblien read was a wrong memory? That should be someone attaching new magic to it, and deceived the master of the magic tower. Could it be Vermouth? I can't figure it out anyway. Let's get the necklace back first. Then the second thing. That's collection. Oil Essence's adopted son. Eugene was not in a hurry to express his position on this. Instead, he expressed the need to seek his father's opinion. The owner also agreed with this. Then someone will be sent to Christ to fetch his father. This incident is actually very important for Eugene's growth. At home, neither the resources nor the teachers are from Eugene. Popular science. Eugene is quite interested in this. I hope to learn from the strongest person in the family. I thought he was the head of the family, but the owner denied it. Because the strongest person in the Lionhart family is Jiwon. In fact, the owner has another reason. Didn't tell you. It was then that he began to practice magic. When you need to spend magic power, but expensive, and you need someone with great skills to guide you in getting started. It is difficult for the Jihad family, where Eugene belongs, to achieve. That kind of environment was not conducive to Eugene developing his talents. But he didn't want Eugene to blame his family, so he didn't say these words. Then the two chatted for a while and ended the meeting. 2 days later, Eugene's livestock came to his hometown from as far away as Quito. I couldn't help but shed tears after getting off the bus. He knows that his son is extremely qualified, but his ability cannot help Eugene develop. So he thought that Eugene would be in this bloodline for the first time. Recognize the reality. I didn't expect Eugene to really win against me. He is proud of his son. But because I didn't believe what Eugene said back then, and feel guilty, after bursting into tears. Only then did I realize that the owner of the house was watching from the side. He hurriedly saluted the head of the family. The owner of the house also politely invited him to the living room for a detailed discussion. Soon the two of them sat down in the house. I learned that the owner of the family intends to collect the oil money to adopt him as an adopted son. Jihad raised his concerns. It's just that other people in the family will make things difficult for him. After all, after becoming an adopted son, Eugene is in competition with them. The head of the family also admitted that he attaches great importance to direct descendants. And the Senate will not allow a crab to become the head of the family. So as long as Eugene is not greedy, he can stay at home. Let your qualifications be fully developed. And he has the status of an adopted son. Eugene can still be with this family's children. Build deep friendships. After listening to the owner's explanation, Jihad's hanging heart was relieved. So he found Eugene again. Look at the storm sword he wears on his waist. That made him bankrupt and couldn't afford it. This made him more determined. Convince Eugene to become the adopted son of the family master. That way he can develop better. But he was also worried that his family would be very repulsive to Eugene. Father, you have watched me grow up since childhood. Eugene Lionhart. You won't be bullied anywhere. Your name. Your late mother and I named you. You must not forget this. I will never forget that my wife has become the adopted son of my family. My father is also only Gerhard Reinhardt. Afterwards, the head of the family invited the family to participate in the bloodline ceremony. Attended the banquet. And tell everyone. Crab winning is something worthy of blessing. It's not something to embarrass my family. At the same time, it was also announced that he would adopt Eugene as his adopted son. Shortly after the party, in the master's living room, Roblien explains to Lide the matter of accepting disciples. He will not take disciples easily. First, you need to pass the aptitude test to build your moral character. If it is detected that he has used summoning magic, then he can stay in Asia. But if his ability not enough to impress other magicians, then I won't accept him as my disciple. But I will stay in Yarrow for him. Create a good environment for practicing magic. In this way, Lid followed Roblien to Yarrow. And Eugene finally ushered in his rebirth. The day I first practiced magic. There are two ways to practice magic power. Breathing and body exercises. Pranayama is through breathing. To absorb the magic in the air. And accumulate. The physical exercise method is to accumulate magic power through physical exercise. Two methods. Breathing is more advantageous. In my previous life, I often used physical exercises. Later, under the guidance of Sini Ya and Bimit, converted to breathing. The training method of the Lionhart family is the breathing method. This time, the place he wants to follow Jiwen is the forest veins of his family. Forest veins are soil that gathers a lot of magic power. There is a forest vein deep in my forest. Only people of this family's bloodline can enter. But it's an exaggeration. This place was actually created by Vermouth. Walking on the road, Jiwen began to explain magic training to Eugene. The younger you are, the better it is to practice magic. The 3 children of this family started practicing Falun Gong at the age of 16. 12 and 12 took 3 days. It took a week to feel the magic power. And the crab's children, usually at Eugene's age, just started practicing magic. So it takes a month to sense magic power. But it shouldn't take you that long. After all, you have spiritual veins in my help. Jiwen guessed that it would take 10 days for Eugene to sense the magic power. Eugene secretly laughed at the boy. I don't even need 10 minutes. Just talk and walk at the same time. The 2 finally came to our home to practice magic. Our family's cultivation method was passed down by Vermouth. But according to the regulations, Tangware cannot be passed down to the mainstream. Can only practice second-rate training. Akiwashi said that the temperature is like a gorilla, showcasing the family's heritage. Bai Yinshi. Although Eugene doesn't remember the name Bai Yinshi, but he remembered the unique name when using Bai Yongshi. The high-density magic power around Vermouth. It appears in the form of white flames. Eugene in his previous life. I couldn't break through that flame until the end. You shouldn't feel the magic right away. Let's practice breathing first. I already feel it. That's your illusion. Think carefully. You must be too involved to feel this way. So he stretched out his fingers and made a ball of light. I plan to use this to tell Eugene that this is an illusion. The next moment he controlled the light ball to linger around. Eugene, do you still feel it? As a result, Eugene pointed it out accurately right away. Every position of the light ball. How long are you going to test me? The temperature is shocking. After all, in his cognition, 10 days is fast enough to feel the magic power. He couldn't help but smile. Sitting cross-legged in front of Eugene, start helping Eugene practice white rock. With breathing, Eugene kept breathing in the forest veins and transfer the magic power to the air current of Bien City, gradually leading to the heart. As the magic gathers, Eugene let go of Wing Wen's hand. Sit up alone. This can no longer be described as well done. Eugene has begun to adjust the magic power in his body, so that the body that has just learned to use magic can accept it. But what Jiwen didn't know was that Eugene has memories of his past life, so it's easy to feel the magic and use breathing techniques. Plus Lionhart's bloodline. It's so easy for this body to absorb magic. But this body is still small. The amount of magic that can be absorbed is limited. After taking the first group photo, he stops absorbing. At this moment Jiwen felt that he was simply a monster. Learned so quickly. Shirayan's core size is also larger than that of ordinary people. The biggest difference between the Shirayan clan and the Akian clan. It's nuclear fission. No matter how the Xian clan practices, there is only one. But after Bai Yan cultivated to a certain level, the nucleus will split. Allow the body to accommodate more. And these sums are called stars. Vermouth has 10 stars. He is Lionhart in history. The only person who has cultivated to 10 stars. Jiwen and the head of the family are both 6-star heads. The 3 children are still 1 stars. But 10A and 12A should be able to reach 2 stars next year. That is to say, it took them 8 years to go from 1 star to 2 stars. Return to home. Jiwen asked Eugene to have a good rest. He is going to report to the head of the family. But how can Eugene rest? It's hard to cultivate magic power. There is one more thing he wants to do in particular. That's testing the storm sword. Will follows the movement of his magic. Suddenly he blew a hurricane around him. Suddenly he heard a voice. It's unique. He remembered that the sound was wind. Wind Elf King. Tenfest. Hamel, are you reborn? How did you recognize me? I will never forget your soul. Although times have changed, you changed your appearance. But the soul never changes. I haven't been summoned by Wilder for a long time. I thought he was a descendant of Vermouth. So I paid special attention to it. Why didn't Vermouth kill the Demon King? Tell me quickly. Tambiest. After I died, you stayed with them in the devil world. So you must know the answer. I have no way of knowing Vermouth's intentions. During the decisive battle with the Yubby Demon King, Vermouth put away his sword. Although the war is fierce, but the ending is boring. Fight to the end. Only Vermouth and the Demon King Yubby are left. Vermouth put away his sword. He didn't kill the Yubby Demon King. And it's nonsense. Eugene gritted his teeth in anger. The oath made by Vermouth and the claustrophobic Demon King. What is the content? The Wind Elf King has no way of knowing this. Because the moment Vermouth received the receipt, he can't interfere. Only those present know. But at that time, except for Yubby and Vermouth, everyone else fainted. Who should I ask? Suddenly, the figure of the Wind Elf King begins to demonize. Because Eugene's magic power is not enough to summon him. He was the one who insisted on opening the door. Time is up now. Wait until your power is strong enough next time. With the disappearance of the Wind Elf King, Eugene also collapsed to the ground. Soon after, Eugene finally woke up from his deep sleep. It turns out that he collapsed because of exhaustion of magic power. Recall what happened before. The Wind Elf King recognized him by his soul. Before, he also felt that he might not be the reincarnation of Hamel. Just have the memory of Hamel. But this time he was sure. He was reborn with memories. Hamel 300 years ago. Then Nina walked in. I learned this from Nina. He is unconscious. About half a day. Ji-wen and the head of the family are waiting for him in the wing. Seeing Eugene wake up, Nina hurriedly went to invite them over. Soon they came to the room. The head of the house asked what happened. There was a lot of movement at that time. You can't hide it. But apart from my own rebirth, everything else can be said. So, Eugene then told the story of summoning the Wind Elf King. Said it out. The head of the family and Ji-wen were both shocked. Except for Vermouth. No one can summon the Wind Elf King anymore. But Eugene also told the truth. The Elf King just wants to come and take a look. But his magic power is too small. King Qingling will leave soon. Know these. The owner of the house looks forward to Eugene even more. Originally, he and Ji-wen had an affair after the bloodline ceremony. Will start practicing and traveling. But now they feel that Eugene's growth is more important. So they decided to stay. And learned that Eugene had learned. Xian and 12 of Bien Division. I also practiced harder. Eugene sighed. After the head of the family and Ji-wen have left. He drew his storm sword again. Prepare to summon the Wind Elf King. But only summoned a summer elf. The intelligence of the summer elves is simply impossible to deal with. He had no choice but to give up. Start thinking about what to do next. Know the contents of the oath. Only Vermouth and the claustrophobic Demon King. So I will definitely go to Hemd in the future. And Yaroyo. There are traces of our companions in places like RAS Hall. I want to go too. But I can't go now. This body is still too young at the moment. Time flies. Liujin will soon be 17 years old. This physical qualification coupled with his unremitting efforts. Now he has reached 3 stars in Bien City. But he felt that this was far from enough. If you want to make good use of this body with excellent qualifications. Except for what I learned in my previous life. Still need to learn more about other things. So he decided to go to Yarrow to learn magic. After these years of getting along, his relationship with Xian and Shi-Er became closer. So the first person he said goodbye to was Xian. However, Xian feels that it is inappropriate for him to go to Yarrow now. Because after Lida went to Allor. Due to mediocre qualifications. Failed to become Rebellion's apprentice. Although I entered the Red Magic Tower through the back door. But nothing has been achieved over the years. And 12 would be sad if Eugene left. But Eugene thought it was strange that he would be sad. Then Eugene came to the master's drawing room. He told the head of the family that he was going to Yama. The owner of the house also felt it was very sudden. After all, among all the ancestors, no one could be at Eugene's age. Just reach 3 stars. Keep working hard and you will reach 4 stars soon. But Eugene is precisely because after reaching 3 stars, I found that my practice in my family has reached a bottleneck. So he wants to learn magic. Only in this way can we see magic from another perspective. The head of the family saw that he persisted. He agreed to his request. But there is a requirement. Just absolutely no contact with black magic. There is a black magic tower in Yarrow where black magicians gather. Although there are no dangerous rumors now. People's perception of black magic has also changed. But the Lionhart family has an unwritten rule. Just can't touch black magic. Eugene was clear 300 years ago. What dirty things they have done. So even if the head of the family doesn't mention it, he will never come into contact with those people. After obtaining permission, Eugene left. When passing by room 12, he was stopped by the 12 pavilion gates. But 12 doesn't want to come out. The two of them were chatting through a door. Do you really want to go to Yarrow? Yes, because I want to learn magic. Don't you already know elf magic? And you can hire magicians directly from the capital. Study here. If you don't continue training, my brother and I may surpass you. Isn't that good? When the time comes, it will become more interesting for me to spar with you. By the way, I haven't sparred with you in a long time. Then if I spar with you in the future, aren't you going to Allor? No. I must go to Yarrow. Idiot, how long do you have to go? You won't know until you go there. But it should take several years. Why did it take so long? You will definitely suffer if you leave home. What about Lord Jihad? Even if I'm not here, Father will also live well. Uncle Jiwen will definitely be sad too. And my brother. When he just told me that, I can tell he doesn't want you to leave either. Yeah. Then I have to go too. Do you really want to leave? Idiot, I don't want you to leave either. Soon. Eugene then came to Pentagon City, the capital of Yarrow. Here and when he came in his previous life, a lot has changed. Go and fight in many kingdoms. Only Yarrow put the portal in the air. There are 15 in Pentagon City alone. All from the god Senia. And the aerial carriage they are riding in now. Also the leader of Senja. The first goal of this trip is Senia's happiness. The mansion here is where Senia lived before she retired to seclusion. Since leaving here 200 years ago. No one knows his whereabouts anymore. There are two opinions on this. One is to give Hamel's revenge. Went to Korea again. The second is that he was assassinated by people from the Black Magic Tower. But Eugene feels that he can't do it with the Black Magic Tower. If Senia is really killed, it could only be the devil who did it. They can enter Asia through the Black Magic Tower. To the devils, Senja must be a thorn in their side. Soon after, Eugene arrived at Senja's mansion. Times have changed. It is inevitable to be said when touching the scene. Enter the mansion. He recalled the time when they fought together. Senia once said to him, he wants to live an ordinary life like ordinary people. Get married and have children. Then she turns into an old woman and dies slowly. So Eugene finds it strange that Senia is reclusive. He should get married and have children. Live a good life. But the main purpose of his coming here, it's not like we just walked straight to the basement level. This is a huge study room. Maybe Senia has a clue left here. Not only was his necklace not registered for protection, the memory was also changed. It was left in the treasure house for so long and no one found it. As soon as he entered, he realized that this was no coincidence. He guessed that the necklace was the same as Tenfest. It appears only after feeling his soul. Someone must have tampered with his rebirth. If that person is Senia, maybe he'll leave a trap here. But he searched the whole house. Haven't found anything relevant. No choice. He had no choice but to leave. Start heading to the Red Magic Tower. On the way to the Red Magic Tower, he asked the tour guide for information about Lyde. Lyde seems to be very famous in Pentagon City. The tour guide also knew something about him. But it seems that some of them still refuse to speak up. In the end, Eugene was revealed in his own name. Never say it out loud. The tour guide then opened his mouth. It turns out that Lyde has been obsessed with dreams these years. He regularly goes to a road called Bolero Street Place, because that place can only be seen on a full moon night. This made Eugene very angry. Lyde, as a descendant of Benoit and the long face of the family, he actually got together with the demons. He silently recorded this matter in his mind. Need to find out what's going on with Little. Just like this, I came to the Chiza Magic Tower in my thoughts. Because now Eugene has learned magic. So he can see. Mobilian is very strong now. The two of them were chatting. Suddenly the door was opened. What is standing there is Force. 4 years. He actually turned into such a monster. It looks like the body has been hollowed out. This made Eugene even more angry. He wants the whole world to know. He was sucked dry by the incubus. Roblien was obviously dissatisfied with him too. Sternly asked him to say hello to Eugene. He didn't know what to say. Instead, Eugene greeted him angrily. See him looking decadent. Roblien looked dissatisfied. Tell him to leave quickly. Then Eugene told Roblien. He plans to seek it out. So Roblien arranged for Hera to accompany him. In this way, Eugene began his life in the Red Magic Tower. A whole month. He goes to the library every day. Finally, get all the magic introductory books in the library. Finished reading it all. Xenia had already divided the stages of magic 300 years ago. Tamaki uses magic power to weave circles inside her body. Let it circulate and it will work its magic. Magic power breaks through the maximum value. The number of rings will increase. Now, most magicians use rings as introductory magic, in addition to different systems of elven magic or black magic. And today Eugene has to complete an experiment. Just adjust the existing ring type. He planned to embed white rock at the base of the ring to be his introductory demon. But the use of magical power in martial arts and magic is different. If you don't use the technique, when a warrior chants a spell, he cannot cast magic. And if magic calls the police, he might die from this. But that's what Eugene is for. I just finished reading the introductory magic book in the library. He will not give up the sword. Hera was cured even though she couldn't be persuaded. So Eugene started running the magic, ready to start his experiment.